to, because like who fucking wants to play a game they don't enjoy? Like that's all. But at the same time, like just everything that's come from you is opinionated. It doesn't matter if you go other people feel like this. It's like, yeah, feel. It's not a logical foundation. Like, all right, I don't agree with the weight system. Here's my proponent. I've seen 1,000 fucking terrible suggestions for it. I've seen one good one. But at least the 1,000 terrible suggestions were valid criticism, as opposed to this is just fucking garbage. Like, come on. The one guy who put that weight system out like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, something like that, it was before I posted the update, is the crowning example of what everybody should do. Like that is criticism at its best. At its bare minimum, it's like if you don't agree with something, then you should at least put why. Because all I hear is 90% of what people put, and this is why it's grating, because when I show someone a process and they're just like, oh, this is fucking terrible. It's like, all right, show me how to improve it. Like I'm open to suggestions. There's only about 7 of us that can truly kick around ideas. And that's it. And when I put out these suggestion threads, I pretty much see stuff that I thought of months ago that I know don't work. And I do not have the time. I genuinely do not have the time to go to every single suggestion and be like, this doesn't work. This is why it doesn't work. Like I can take the big examples, like the ones that people start rallying behind and think is really good. And if it doesn't work, like then I can disassemble. I'm like, here's why it doesn't work, guys. It's like, great. Because then people get a better understanding. If I spend all the time doing that, I'm never going to move forward. So my headset just died again. God damn it, Logitech. Ugh. Ugh. All right, there we go. Hold on, try talking.
Can you hear me?
Perfect, great. Fucking don't buy Logitech. That's the moral of this story. Don't buy Logitech. Anyway, one of the biggest problems that I can't dispute because it's right is these carnivore mega packs can just run around and all the food supports them.
Why don't you just change the food values to make it so it doesn't support them anymore? When the first
hold on, listen. If I change the food values to not support them anymore, it's going to kind of fucking destroy everything. Now, the main thing that you have to understand is that if I change the food values, I'm not addressing the root concern. Like, look at this from another perspective. How can you fix carnivores having enough food without, or a surplus of food rather, without changing their food values? What can you do? Because before, if you recall, before the food values were changed, they were just starving everywhere. You were just lucky to find someone before you starved. You were constantly on the hunt. You had no time to fucking do anything else. Run to a lake, find food. Run to a lake, find food. How the fuck are you ever going to nest? How are you going to be able to do anything that we're implementing in this game if you are constantly on the hunt for food? So when it was upped, I shouldn't say the only other way because there's several ways, but tell me from your perspective, how do you think you could fix all these dinosaurs, carnivore wise, just having a surplus of food?
I would say that, you actually had it very well tuned in the first implementation of progression.
I'm gonna go away, so I can't respond. I can still hear you, but I have to go into the other room. So just have a really long-winded response for me.
Well, you actually had it done very well in the first implementation of progression, back on regions 1 and 2. And this was because I believe you actually had to kill 2 or 3 Herreras in order to progress as a Herrera to Ostro. And then as Ostro, once again, you had to survive for 60 minutes, and you had to kill several Herreras or Ostros or whatever you could find to progress. The map was smaller, the dinosaurs were more closely packed together, and that actually made a much more thrilling progression experience at that time. So what can you do to answer that question? You already had it right. It's just you kept changing things and making it worse. And that's a great solution right there. I mean, I was actually a big proponent of not making the map so large so this kind of issue didn't start cropping up, where you spawn at far corners of the map and can't find anybody. And instead of addressing that issue by making a map that was more reasonably sized, you added this extremely large map to the game and made everybody's food supply so big that they basically don't have to do anything for half an hour to an hour when they spawn in. And there's my solution right there, and it was already in the game.
Okay, so your solution results on defaulting to a terrible performance map. That wasn't perfect, dude. Like that's not perfect at all. Like you didn't answer the question whatsoever. Well, I asked you I asked you how can you fix it right now, and you're wanting to do a map shift with lower hunger values to pack dinosaurs in a specific area, so you're constantly having to hunt and kill someone. That requires changing the food values, which I just told you, give me a presented option that doesn't involve changing their food values.
Well, the problem is it does involve changing the.
Yes, I know. So it does. So that kind of just gets tossed out of the window, and we'll get to why. But I'm asking you, what is your proposed idea without changing food values?
There is not a solution without changing food values. That's literally the important crux of the.
Okay, cool. So let me explain to you how we're going to change this. The giant surplus of food right now boils down to the fact that everyone is concentrated in one spot. If all of your herbivores are concentrated in one spot, one very specific thing solves everything, actually. If you provide herbivores with a specific diet that is on opposite ends of this map, which means you specifically have to travel to find more food, you will not be able to hunt adequately to feed 6, 7, 8 carnivores at all, period. We have these giant roving groups of herbivores, which is the food supply of these carnivores. So these megapacks can just roam around and slaughter these large groups. But what happens when these large groups are suddenly scattered? When your food sources are not concentrated, you no longer can have a concentration of predators. Your predators are reflected by their food source, man. Like, you don't need to change their food values. Their food values are so you're not constantly sweating going, oh God, I have to eat. Like, in the old map, yes, why were the food values so small? Because you're in a map the 1/8 of the size. If you're not in a map that small, you shouldn't have the food values of that map. They were upped to reflect that. If the food values were the same, you are never going to really be able to do anything. You will you'll just starve. Like, if you separate, more importantly, taking the large ones. If you look at the map biome for V4, split these guys up. Hold on, let me find it. I want to find it so you have a visual representation. If I can find it. Files, please. Okay. All right. Where's this at? All right. I pinned it in the Storytime channel. You take these biomes, which are all generally on opposite ends of the island. And this has been updated only slightly inside the live map, so there's not a ton, but the swamps are on the opposite ends of this volcano. The redwood biomes are on opposite ends, the spruce forest, the broadleaf forest, all that other good stuff. You take these biomes and you restrict these large apex herbivores, their food source anyway, to these biomes. you no longer have a global food value for everything. That means your population is going to be dependent on that food, which means the carnivore population will be dependent on their positioning. Now, of course, you have migratory of going back and forth, but let's use the spruce forest as an example. Do you have it pulled up? Brad?
Oh, yes. Wait.
Okay. Yes,
I do
wait.
not have the map pulled
That
up.
is mixed signals. That is mixed signals. Okay, hold on. I'll just DM it to you. Wait, that's Fred. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen this map before.
Yeah, okay, cool. So you know what I'm talking about. It's, you know, a plains is an even better example. If you look at your plains, bottom right-hand corner, or bottom left-hand corner, top right-hand corner, it's a biome that's going to be food exclusive to certain species. Your large apex species will be very, very infrequently mingling. The main reason for this is if they kind of come across each other on these game trails when they're moving from A to B for food. If you are restricting this movement by food, you're not saying that, hey, your dinosaur can't go to these other areas by any means. You're just simply saying that if you want food, you're in these areas. Go to these areas for food, which right now is not exactly easy because everything drains by 2, but your food is everywhere. And once it drains by 1, you have a little bit of a relaxed pace. But with nests, you have 2 specific options. You have number 1, you're nomadic. You can roam around at your will, your leisure. You know, you run out of food, who cares? Just go to the other area, find food there. Unless everyone's turning into a stegosaurus, in which case then it's like, hey, guess what? You actually have to fight another stegosaurus over food. Great, right? Herbivores are fighting one another, which now means carnivores can scavenge. Not really an option right now because most people have no reason to fight one another because food is so plentiful. Who gives a shit? We're in the golden age of dinosaur. The other part being that when you're nesting and you have young, you can't really just travel with these guys, mainly because they need to eat frequently. So are you going to abandon your young in order to do this? You abandon your young, they die, there's carnivore food. It's probably not a lot considering that most of you start off at 20% size, with the exception of Preditosaurus starts off at 10. It's even smaller than the other babies. Sort of. It's taller, but juvenile models won't come in for a long time. They're actually literally last on the list. They're just done. You take this large concentration of these mega herbivore packs and you scatter them among the island. Your massive carnivore packs have no way of sticking together for food. It doesn't work anymore because you don't have a high concentration of herbivores in an area for them to just go, okay, great. They have very, very specific routes that they can go through herbivore wise to shortcut and offset this area. But if you look in the bottom right hand corner, you see the redwood biome, the dark tannish bit.
I do.
Okay, that big white line that goes through is your basically 4 kilometer cutoff. It shaves off 4 kilometers of your journey. And I say roughly 4 kilometers because I'm literally not putting in a measurement because I don't have a tool for it. And I'm sure there is. I'm just a shitty dev. But you're looking at about 4 kilometers just eyeballing it, where they have to go through this canyon. So that's pretty much just your risk reward, which applies for carnivores if they're going from biome to biome, which we can incentivize carnivores to hunt certain things if we want. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if you put something in just for iconic value's sake, let's just say a T-Rex does 10% more damage to ceratopsians. And ceratopsians are, if I'm saying that right, are found in redwoods. That means your T-Rex is incentivized, but not required, to hunt trikes, diablos, avaceratops, all that good stuff, which are in redwoods, which means you can kind of realistically expect more often than not to find a T-Rex in the redwood biome. I would expect. And I say I would expect because, again, you can't restrict people with the exception of the diets right now. And I'm not going to be like, oh, T-Rex can only eat a trike. You know, who does that? But all the same, with this split up, you're going to have people incentivized to be in these specific areas as these species, which means if you have a trike in the redwoods, you obviously don't want another large apex there, because then if they intermingle, with the exception of the migratory routes, you're kind of fucking your carnivores, where right now you just kind of have these huge packs of things just kind of throwing bodies at one another to a degree. Like you get your ambush opportunities, absolutely, but it's a very high amount of people that just run as huge packs of gigas or big packs of allosaurus and all this other stuff, which even then when times are tripled won't matter, because you will be required to hunt, and when you are required to hunt, that means that this type of gameplay is going to be emergent. Period. Hold on, let me scroll down. I just heard my headset die again. Thanks, Logitech. There we go. Anyway, you don't want large apexes in the same area, because obviously it becomes extremely difficult for carnivores. Not just difficult, because trikes on their own are strong, but extremely difficult. So with the trikes being split up now, the main thing you have to fine tune is the food values in every location. Because what is the benefit of having 20 trikes in, let's say, the northwestern Redwood area? If you have 20 trikes over there, you're going to deplete your food supply really quickly. And if you do that, and there's a bunch of trikes in the southwestern area or the southeastern area, and I'm not saying like these values of terms of like 20 trikes. I'm not saying like, oh, you need 20 trikes to deplete the food. I'm just throwing numbers out at this point. You have 20 trikes up in the northwest, they take all the food. You have 20 trikes down in the southeast, and they take all the food. Both of these food zones have been depleted. So now it's like filling a cup with water, and once it reaches the top, you just keep pouring in it. That means trikes are going to start dying, starvation, or just smashing into one another, killing each other for food. Either way, your population is going to fall off. The redwood biome is only going to support so many herbivores that are only going to support so many carnivores. That's just the simple fact of survival. Like when you were picking this dinosaur, you're picking the biome that you're going to be eating in. By knowledge of these, we will have dossiers for them. You will know which biome you should be going to. And it's not really hard to be like, oh, those are conifer trees. Because if you don't know what conifer is, Google. Same can be said for Stegosaurus. We can put Stegosaurus because it attacks with its tail in a biome that's pretty far away, because if they intermingle, you've got something that can defend its back with something defending its front, which means together, that's a very nice synergy. You don't want that, too frequently put together, because I agree and understand that like a trike or any dinosaur that attacks from the front in a high weight class with another dinosaur that attacks from the rear in a high weight class is a very strong and powerful combination. It's very, very difficult. So you just don't want them intermingling. So you put them as far away from each other as possible. The better part of it being you can also have a situation where you can offset them with the lower species. Your Avaceratops doesn't particularly have to eat in the same biome as your Triceratops. So that way, if you've got someone who's progressing up the same tree, it doesn't particularly matter. They're not going to run into something they're going to see in the future. And you can basically create these, I don't want to call them ecosystems because they're not, but in these biomes, you get to basically say what you can expect to find in there realistically that will be foraging for food, but definitely what you will find in terms of nests. If your diet is in the spruce forest, you're not going to go make a nest in the savanna. Like you're just not. You're not going to find Stegosaurus herds in the savanna if their diet's in the spruce forest in terms of a nest. The nesting grounds also means they're anchored to a spot. If they're anchored to a spot and they've got a nest, that means they've got babies. That means the baby is either going to starve out and die if you just sit on them. And by sitting on them, I just mean just wait, wait in the general area. Mama has to leave eventually to get food. And if she leaves to get food, she's going to take the baby with her. The baby's got to stay right under her. Throw a little chaos out. It's not too difficult to catch a baby. I mean, all their stats are reduced to 20%. Their movement's scaled accordingly. They're very small. They're very slow. Mama might actually kill the baby on accident. But the fact of the matter is that you don't need to change food values whatsoever. You split up the mega herds of herbivores. You've immediately split up the capability for megapacks to be a thing. Like, period. You have a mega pack of carnivores roaming across this land trying to devour everything in sight. It simply won't feed all of them. It just you would legitimately just and your pack would fail. So again, apparently that there's a solution there. You just didn't think of it. And I'm not doubting you because of that, but I mean, don't tell me that there's no solution to food without changing their values when it's very blatantly right there. Now let me see if I can fix my Logitech.
Can I speak right now?
I heard now. Try talking.
Can I speak right now?
Yes, you can.
Well, it sounds like we both have very different ideas on the development of the game and what problems are. It seems like there's a lot of issues in the past and present that I have brought up. I still think they're valid. I still think they're pertinent. It seems that you have a lot of things you've mentioned regarding future implementations that may or may not solve these issues. But nonetheless, for the time being, I really don't think there's a whole lot else to be said. I mean, I am very much appreciative that you did have this conversation here. I still have the same concern that I do. But it's really not a whole lot else to be said now, to be honest. I mean, guess only time will tell.
Okay.
Oh, awkward silence.
Oh, right. I can unmute people now.
But yeah, I think regarding the game's mechanics and future, who knows? I mean, I haven't been particularly impressed lately. Your future ideas do sound sound and solid. I do think that attacks on the community and abuse by the devs has to stop, like the death theory I mentioned. That is definitely a bit that needs to be worked on as well. But
you know what? I'm kind of curious. I'm not gonna do this to fuck with you. What if I clone the SVN from the way the game is right now? I will go on my old PC because I know I have a copy of Region 2 on there. I will take that and its assets in a specific folder, put it on the SVN. I will commit it. I will give you an SVN account to my SVN server at home. I will let you fuck with whatever value you want. Make the game however the fuck you want. I will teach you how to edit the dinosaurs because it's literally fucking editing numbers for the most part. Let you make the changes you want to make. I will make a separate branch of the game. It'll be just theory test. When you're done and you feel confident, you can commit it to the SVN. I will do a Steam build and I will push it to Steam under a separate branch. I'll release it to the public for a couple of days.
That actually sounds like a lot of fun. I'd love to do that.
All right, then. I will get something from Deathly, and I'm gonna make that happen.
All right, sure. Just let me know. Like maybe we can talk later or something like that when you have this stuff like arranged and stuff. Or
well, I have a meeting to do with Aaron, but I mean, whenever Deathly's on, Deathly's on. But yeah, no, I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay, I think I'll mostly work on the numeric balancing for the most part because that's probably the best step for someone that's kind of a novice at coding to do. But nonetheless, that sounds really cool. I can't wait.
Yarp. I'll double check on the old SVN to make sure that actually, you know what? I might be able to check on F-Drive. Hold on. We're gonna look at something here. Because if not, I'm fairly confident it's on the old PC. Oh, Jesus Christ. Nope. It's so old that it actually only has the test level. Oh, crap. Okay, hold on. I'm going to try the other one. Also, nope, too old. Oh, Jesus. This has the volcano on the side of the island. That's old. Yep, I'll just have to check the old PC. I'll plug it up later tonight. All right, I'm gonna unmute chat, and I'm gonna grab my food.
Goodness gracious.
Oh boy, is this going to be a train.
Just waiting for everybody to start yelling.
I think otherwise. Holy
Can't even
crap,
see who's
like-
talking.
Oh, did you have to leave and rejoin to be actually unmuted? I got
Yep.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I just told everybody else how to unmute.
Dang it.
Should have enjoyed the silence while it lasted.
Good job.
Dang it.
Good job.
Republicans
Well,
are keeping this
Thank y'all for listening, and I am here this evening, but I think I'm going to peace out to my own Discord now. So, y'all have a wonderful night.
Preditoria,
Yes.
good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck. You're going to need it. I'll be writing
Yeah.
a Steam review.
I'll be recording on that branch.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. If any of y'all want to like join or something like that, I'm gonna be trying to figure out how to tune all the numbers and stuff. But
I just lurk around Predatoria's Discord. Because I'm too shy to talk.
aw, well, none of us bite that hard.
Except when I'm hungry.
All right. Well, I'll see you all later. You have a good night.
We only bite the Dinosaur.
Is that Char? Char, is that you?